some of the findings that emerged from this study. Now, the issue of sex, I won't read my screen, I'll just show it and discuss some of the matters. The issue relating to sexual assault is something that has been well researched, well documented, and a part of the reason for that is because of the implication of sexual assault on people's psychosocial development, psychosocial state. And as a result, you understand why it is that the matter of sexual assault, this particular crime, is actually important. And one of the reasons why the World Bank, sorry, not the World Bank, World Health Organization put out the matter of sexual assault, and I've actually written volumes on the matter because of the importance of sexual assault, not only to today's society, but for future generations, in terms of when we destroy an individual mind, we are destroying a whole lot when and sexual assault occur. Now, the theoretical framework that was used is one in which sexual assault is contextualized in terms of looking at a number of issues. This is relating to masculinity, relating to gender, is relating to aggression. So that is the model that was used to do this research. Now, the model is actually displayed on your screen in terms of outputs, in terms of other studies that have actually occurred on the matter before, indicating to us that the matter is quantitatively established, that it can be studied. Now, the Jamaican context relating to sexual violence, sexual promiscuity, sexual matters, is something that the Sexual Offences Act of 2009 deal with specifically. That is on the Ministry of Justice website in Jamaica, that is there for a person to view as to what constitutes sexual assault, sexual offences from the perspective of the government. Now, RAND has extensively defined the matter relating to sexual assault, including Amnesty International has published extensive work on the matter. So we have a base in terms of looking at sexual assault in the world. And we are seeing here that sexual assault is substantially a female issue. All right. We're not saying that men are not sexually assaulted, but a female is 30 times more likely to be assaulted than a male. And that was published by Amnesty International. And that is an alarming figure to be looking at. Now, we use a correlational design to conduct the study, and a web-based approach was actually used. The 14 parishes of Jamaica were taken into consideration, which means we wanted to ensure that the matter was comprehensively, extensively examined, to make some findings that we share with the government after we did the research. Now, let's look at some results. So we had 506 young persons and individuals ranging from under 18 to 44 years old. We wanted to sort of contextualize the issue relating to young persons more than the extensive population of women. So a number of questions were asked and answers were provided. And remember, this occurred last year in Jamaica. It is between September to December 4th of last year. These occurred. 36% of young persons indicated that they have been sexually assaulted in Jamaica. Where these sexual assaults occur: the home, bushes, in taxis, in churches, etc., etc. And when persons were asked, were you threatened? 46% of individuals, young persons, said that they were threatened during the encounter. So what we did, we disaggregated the matter relating to sexual assault in terms of the genders. We realized that we look at the figure, the things that are saying in terms of sexual assault. 43.6% of females were sexually assaulted compared to 15.4% of the males. So you see where the Amnesty International say that sexual assault is substantially a female matter. That also is true among young individuals in Jamaica from less than 18 to 44 years old. The matter relating to sexual assault was also looked at. So here it is that another look at it in terms of sexual assaulted, those who are sexually assaulted and their gender. Some individuals actually indicated that they are both males and female. Some indicated that they are binary, indicate that they do not want to be classified as male and female. Now, the age distribution of those who were sexually assaulted is something that we should actually look at and pay critical attention to. A number of young persons that were sexually assaulted are under 18 years old. And remember, a number of these individuals were at home during the time of these events. And remember, schools were not actually open in Jamaica. So what was really happening in that is that a number of persons were at home, and sexual assault was 36% in terms of occurrence in Jamaica. Who are some of the persons who perpetrated these things? Fathers, family members, church members, neighbors, taxi drivers, co-workers, teachers, and community members. These were some of the persons who were committing these acts against young persons. Were the cases reported? Most individuals who have been sexually assaulted did not report the case, which is something that the police has actually been speaking about in Jamaica. And the World Bank, not only World Bank, the World Health Organization has been looking at the matter, trying to encourage individuals who have been raped to come forward and speak. But of course, there's a stigma associated with this, and therefore you understand why only 76% of those persons who have been raped indicated that they have reported it, compared to 95% of those who did not report the matter. And that we need to actually address as a society. We also looked at how were the acts committed: penile penetration, touching, forcing self on one, oral finger cunnilingus, general fondling, and kissing. Those were some of the acts that were committed in terms of sexual assault against young persons, against their will. Now, what is it that we are saying inside this research? We are saying inside this research that sexual assault is committed by even some of the members who are attending church. And as a result of that fact that is actually occurring, I am proposing that we need to begin to look at sexual assault and see how the church can make a difference in this matter. Because if it is that sexual assault is occurring and the events are occurring committed by persons who are in church, as well as those persons who are attending the church, then the church needs to actually do something about this critical and important matter that leaves an indelible mark on an individual's mind. And noting carefully as well that a number of the cases are substantially committed against females who are the vulnerable within the society. I also want to share another study with you. And the reason why I want to share the study is because a number of things have been occurring in Jamaica as a result of COVID-19, where many persons are home. And because they are home, we want to sort of see what is actually occurring in people's home while they are trying to deal with the COVID matter. So this research was conducted between September of 2021 to December 4th of 2021. 513 individuals were sampled, individuals from 18 years to 42 years and older. A number of these individuals are employed, inclusive of students as well. And you see the level of education of these individuals. So they're across the spectrum in terms of Jamaica. Now, a number of these individuals are heads of household. When we asked, were you a victim of sexual violence during the last 6 months in 2021? 31% of persons said yes, they have been a victim of sexual assault. And remember, these are persons from 18 and older. Do they know the victim? And 61% of persons indicate that they know who did the what? The abuse. Who were these individuals? Boyfriends, husband, and family members. We asked other things in terms of from the individuals. What type of violence was it? Most of the cases were physical violence. Sexual violence represent 8%, and emotional violence, mental state of individuals was also an issue. Now, domestic violence in terms of before COVID and during COVID. So when you look at the figures inside of persons who are saying, was domestic violence occurring in your home or against you before COVID, you look at never, 39.5%. Before COVID. During COVID, 41.4%. Let's look at frequently occurring cases. 6.7% of cases were frequently occurring before COVID. During COVID, it increased to 14.8%. What are we seeing? A substantial increase of frequently occurring domestic violence. Remember, the cases are what? Sexual, emotional, and physical violence against persons. A number of other questions were asked. COVID measures affected the victims. So we're trying to understand why it is that person, they thought they were sexually abused, or why they were physically or emotionally abused. And we're now asking them issues to sort of unearth what is really going on inside those homes. Reasons for the increase in domestic violence. We asked individuals, what do they think they were actually abused? And many of them indicated that the stress that is occurring inside the environment is causing a problem, 35%. Harsh economic conditions that were occurring as a result of poverty and unemployment, 58%. All right, so it indicates to you that during this COVID time, where a number of persons were actually at home, not working, the frustration was so much that they were taking out this frustration on their family members, including the young persons that were inside of these homes. Now, domestic violence was actually disaggregated by a number of factors, by age, by employment status, by area of residence, by head of household, and by educational status. Now, you see two columns in terms of victim of domestic violence, one that says no and one that says yes. So what I want to look at now is those persons who said yes, they have been what? A victim of domestic violence during the period that we were doing research. 41.5% of those individuals were 18 to 25-year-old. 26 to 33-year-old young individuals, 39.6%. 13.8% of those persons who have been abused were students. And 46.9% of those who were abused during the period are employed individuals, not unemployed, employed individuals. Now, where are a number of these cases occurring? In rural parishes in Jamaica, 68.8%. A number of these individuals were head of household. 53.8% of those persons who were abused were tertiary graduates. So these are not the normal situation where we say, okay, then they are persons who are unemployed, they are lowly educated. So these are educated, employed young persons who are being abused in the homes during September to December of 2021. Now, we'll also look at who are the perpetrators, the husband, the family members, the boyfriends. Most of the cases that we said before, the boyfriend was actually doing the cases. Husbands, the individual who ought to be protecting the wife during the COVID-19 period, was actually what? Abusing what? Their wives. Now, we also looked at the case in terms of whether there was physical, sexual, or emotional violence occurring inside the homes, and in terms of the age distribution of these individuals. 50% of those persons who were emotionally abused were over 40. 80% of those persons who were what? Physically abused are 34 to 41 years old. 62% of the persons are 26 to 33-year-old. So what we're seeing there, the minimum physical abuse occurring inside a home was 40%, and that was occurring with what? Persons over 50, which means 1 in every 2 persons over 42 years was being abused. When the individual is actually older, the abuse was actually more in terms of 34 to 41 years old. And this indicates that something was really radically happening in Jamaica during that time period. Now, what am I